Welcome to Straight Talk Sacred Pathway. I'm Stuart Wellborn, a British author and former therapist, and each week I sit down with Wa-Na-Nee-Che, a spiritual elder from Turtle Island, to explore the deeper truths behind healing, ceremony, and connection to Source.
Matthew had an individual or individuals that came on and said that the indigenous people were idol worshippers. And I sat there and I kind of laughed. I said, that is something that the people misconceive. Just because we go and we thank a tree for giving us wood, giving us shade, giving us warmth, they go into nature and thanking nature and offering, like most of the time, tobacco. So a lot of people thought we were worshiping the tree, that we were worshiping the animals. No, we were thanking them for them being here and helping us as two-leggeds. But a lot of people misconceive that is that we're not praying to them, we're thanking them for what they have given to us. So people need to understand that we're not idol worshippers. We're only in tune with nature and what nature gives us. The only one we would basically honor was the Creator, no one else. Even Jesus, we didn't honor Jesus. We looked to Jesus as a brother, as someone who gave us information on how we were expected to live. But I don't think anybody ever heard what he was trying to explain to people, is that people need to love. I mean, according to the Bible, he even said, if you need help, I'll help you talk to my Father. He never said pray to him. He always said, you can call on me to help you connect with the Father. But they separated and they went to a whole religion that basically based on not so much on a creator or a supreme being, but they went into all of a sudden he was a holy man. And they worshiped him as a holy man because he was the only one that could connect. So they took that away from the human beings, knowing that they had to come to them when they should have been doing it themselves. They don't need no in-between people. They can go straight to the source. And that's why even in the movie Thunderheart, the lady kept saying, you got to go to the source. And he said, he had to go to the source, nobody else. So people have to realize that if they're going to get back on the track, back on their pathway, they got to understand they have the power to connect. And you don't need anybody connecting for you. Just like I tell people, I don't connect for you, but I'll show you how. And that's what people have to go. Now, an interesting thing came up. For a long time, I couldn't understand why people in Europe would have festivals called mind, body, spirit. And I always felt there was something wrong. And I discussed this with some of the people that ran some of the festivals. And we didn't really get into a heated argument, but they didn't want to listen. They didn't want to hear what I was going to try to explain to them. And then in a vision, they explained things to me. They said the reason why it is body, or mind, body, spirit, is because people use the mind. And they have to basically learn how to take their life force energy and bring it up so that it becomes on top. So it would be spirit, mind, body, because the life force energy would then be in control. And they also said because people are so brainwashed into the mind, body, spirit words, they have lost their connection. And this is why we have so many spirits walking the earth. It's because how do you get to the source of the power if you don't have your energy at the top? You can't ascend. Some people can ascend even though they don't have the energy, mind, and body is because they live a good life. So through their good life and through what they do as a good person, through love, it automatically controls the life force energy. So this allows them to go through the doorway. But people will see spirits, and to me, spirits mean there is life after death. And they have to start understanding that in order to reach that level, the top level, they got to get away from this mind, body, spirit stuff. But understand that it only means that you have to work on getting your life force energy on the top. I wish that more people would basically understand that and switch their festivals to the energy, mind, body, rather than call it the mind, body, spirit. There's a lot of them basically, again, being caught psychologically. And when you're psychologically controlled, how do you find the truth? And that's what the CD, like I keep going back to the CD, but the CD releases you from that control. Once it happens, it may take a long while, but when it finally starts to work and you're connected, you can use the CD as entertainment. It's no longer necessary because you've reached that level. And you have the power basically or the tools, you have them. You can utilize those tools, but if you don't use the tools, what good is it? And the tools are very simple. I mean, the first time that I was given tools and they showed me how to use the tools. They didn't tell me anything else. They just showed me basically the tools that I could use. And the minute I used them, within about 2 months, all of a sudden, here comes the visions. Here comes the knowledge. Here comes the wisdom. And it was only because I learned how to connect. And I learned how to believe in that connection. So people, again, you can't believe if you're controlled. As long as your subconscious is controlled by society, you're not going to take that first step. But once you get the first step, society starts to lose a little bit of control, a little bit of control, a little bit of control. And a lot of times when they start losing control, the negative energies will come into your dreams and try to talk you out of it. And that's one thing I've never explained to people is the fact that there are energies out there that are spirits that will come into your dreams and try to convince you, no, that's not the way. But you have to go with your inner feelings because your brain will tell you one thing, but your inner feeling will say, well, I don't think so. Let me continue and I'll find out for myself. And because they become curious, they take that step. And all of a sudden, once they take that step, they're hooked.
You said about dreams there. Bad, bad energies coming into dreams. How do you recognize that from any other kind of dream then?
A lot of times you'll question it and you say, I wonder what that meant. Well, you're questioning it. And the minute you say something like that, you know that there's something not quite right. We know as human beings, we feel it. When something's not right, we know it. But the other thing too that I have to explain is that sometimes what we consider a bad dream is really is information that you have within yourself that you have to conquer. So a bad dream can actually show you things about yourself. So in reality, it's not a bad dream. It's a good dream just saying, okay, this is what you have to cure. This is what you have to come and understand. This is what you have to realize that a lot of the stuff that's coming in is coming from you. And that you're creating your own problems. So what they're trying to do is show you who you are and show you what problems you have to overcome.
I would agree with you on that, even from a psychological point of view. But It's because I misworded it there, didn't I? I wasn't saying necessarily a bad dream. You said bad energies can come into a dream and try and convince you of things.
Yeah,
How would you know that it's the bad energies? Because I would have thought they can be quite convincing
yeah.
of what they're saying.
The way it happens sometimes too is when they come in, come in like they're all powerful, that they can do anything and they can help you. So what they do is they offer you something in return. The first time I had that experience, an evil energy tried to take me off my pathway. And I sat there and I was sitting in the dream, or in the vision, I was sitting in a circle surrounded by the sacred tobacco. And the bad energy said, we can give you all kinds of gifts, but you have to follow this pathway. And I looked at him and I said, no, I sit here within the sacred circle with my sacred pipe, and I am loyal to the Creator. He said, but look, he showed me I was on a mountainside. I hadn't moved. And he said, look, the people are down there and they're adoring you. They're kneeling to you. They're praying to you. This can all be yours. And I said, no, I will sit within my sacred circle with my sacred pipe and I will be loyal to the Creator. He said, look, we can make you a god. You could do things that no other person can do. You'll be all powerful. And then I sat there and looked at him again, and I said, I am within my sacred circle. I am with my sacred pipe, and I am loyal to the Creator. Now be gone. Your temptations aren't going to do anything. I said, I have already seen the truth, and you're not the truth. You're the evil, and you're trying to convince me with offering me all these gifts to go over to your side. And I said, no, I will not do that. So then he disappeared, never came back.
Well, that's interesting because a lot of people, I don't know whether they'd have those kind of visions if they'd be spiritually evolved enough, but a lot of people would go, yeah, I'll have some of that power. And that what you've just said is very similar to like when Jesus was out in the desert for 40 days, wasn't it? Where the devil offered him temptations like to be king of everything. I mean, I don't know the specifics of what the devil tempted him with,
Yeah,
but that's what he had to do. So
yeah,
it sounds like a rite of passage that you've got to go through. Then is it?
yeah. Well, according to what they say, and this is why I wish they would be clear about things, is that according to them, because I passed on, I have a special connection. I have a special connection to the source of the power. And I know a lot of people would call me up middle of the night. Wa-Na-Nee-Che, what? I'm scared. Why? I had a horrible nightmare. I said, tell me about it. Okay, okay. I explained it to him. And then, well, this was another part. I explained to it. By the time I got to the third time, they say, Wa-Na-Nee-Che, what? Never mind. They had their answer. And they got, and then after maybe 5 or 6 phone calls, and they say 2 months or something like that, they stopped calling because they finally made their choice. And things made sense to them then. But you're tested. You're tested your loyalty to love. You're tested loyalty to humanity. You're tested for your love for nature. So, but they have to understand that there are energies out there that would love to get you off your pathway, and that's basically a coup for them.
So it would seem like then if you have things that are offering you power over others or anything that's superficial, something that supports the ego, that's probably the bad energies trying to corrupt you then.
You're going to have to question it right away. What are they really saying? What are they really offering me? Why are they offering it to me? And then the answer should come because I'm a powerful spiritual energy, and they're trying to get my energy to work with them. But that basically shows again they're connected.
If the bad energies are going to offer you things like power, maybe wealth or whatever, what would the good energies be offering you, if
Just
anything?
listen to what they have to say and just laugh about it. You should say, that's not my choice. My choice is to walk my pathway. And then to give you an example of how it works in everyday life, look what people offer people in jobs. What does Trump offer people to come over to his evil side? So again, humans can actually basically be playing the same role of trying to get you off your pathway to get them over to their side.
Yeah, God.
That's why I always remember. I don't know if you remember Gilda Radner on Saturday Night Live, where
No.
she'd always say, "I don't know why people do this. They should leave the eagle alone. They're sit there and they're killing our eagle. They're endangered species." Excuse me, Radner? What? It's ego. Oh, never mind. I used to like her because she'd always come up with something like that. Where she go off on it, then all of a sudden they say, "No, we're not saying eagle, we're saying ego." Something else, and she, "Oh, never mind." I used to like to watch the Saturday Night, like the old one. I mean, they dealt with humor. The new one is sarcasm, and I just completely don't even watch it anymore.
Funny that.
But that people that are listening, that will listen to this broadcast now, will get the word out that they have to start making a choice. Either they want to choose their pathway or they want to choose somebody else's pathway. And but something just hit here. This is why people are drawn off their pathway, is because people out there that are training people to be something that they're not. Oh, I can teach you to be a great shaman. I can great you. I can teach you to be so great that people will come and swarm for you, and they will take all your advice, and they will want to do everything you tell them to do. And that's where we've gotten right now in society, is that we have all these people enticing people to come and learn what they are not. Because who gave them the only person that can make you a shaman is the life force energy, is what we call the source of the power. That's where your power comes from. Men and women can't give you that power, but yet you spend thousands of pounds and dollars trying to become something you're not. You go through ceremonies. Well, if you're not attached, those ceremonies are worthless. And a lot of times the reason why it works is because psychologically they start to control you. I know I used to get into it a little bit in a discussion about how mediums work. It's just like I said, when we talk, he said, "Yeah, but you know things. Are you a medium?" I said, "No." "Then how do you know all this?" I said, "You're telling me." "I can read your mind." I said, I know what your thoughts are because you express them and you send them out. So I can pick it up." And I said, I'm not a psychic. I said, "I'm not a medium. I'm just saying things that you're showing me so I can help you."
Possibly, and I could be wrong on this, but I think the problem is that there are those that dogmatically believe what they've been raised with, whatever faith that is.
Yeah.
But then there are other people that question it and are going, well, this doesn't feel right. And now, because of, say, the internet and the fact that information is shared more widely, people see other paths like yours or maybe Hinduism or Buddhism and they want to explore something different because it resonates with them. However, there are shysters out there, aren't they, that are going, well, let's take advantage of those people. I could be wrong, but I think that's part of it.
You know, another way of explaining it, say, for instance, you go into a buffet and you love their chocolate cake. So say, "I want that." But after you eat chocolate cake, I'll say, "Oh no, I'm sick of it." the whole idea is they just have to basically again find what is right for them. And sometimes if there's a they have to go through like a variety of tests before they finally find, yeah, that's what I've been looking for.
Just gonna say, nah, that doesn't happen with chocolate cake. You can't eat chocolate cake and get bored of it.
Neither can I.
I'm like Homer Simpson in that scene in Hell where he's feeding him donuts and he's like, yum, yum, yum,
Yeah.
yum, more, yum, 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 more.
Yeah, the only thing bad about having all this knowledge is the fact that you can't heal yourself. And I've always been told that you can help other people, but you can't help yourself. You can't heal yourself. And I wish they'd give me the answer why I can't heal myself. I think it's because when you're sick, you have that thickness inside of you, and that's what you're feeling. So how can you cure something if that's all you're doing is feeling? When you look at someone else, say for instance that is ill, your heart goes out to them. So then you're sincere, and when you do it for yourself, it's almost like you're being a little bit self-inflicted. Your ego is getting involved.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point you just made. That very interesting because I do, psychotherapy type flavors and helping people, coaching or whatever kind of stuff. But I'm probably more messed up than they are. Even though I'm good at helping them, I'm still screwed up.
I used to do this exercise with someone. I said, sit down. So they sit down. Oh, stand up. So they sit down. Okay, now sit down. Stand up. Why? You're well trained. Sometimes I said, because people will tell you to do things that aren't right for you, but you do them,
Well, this is
just
true.
because that's who you are, you tell them to do things, they do it.
I don't know how long we've got because obviously we started late. Earlier in the week, because obviously we've missed 4 weeks. We were planning to miss two. Then you had obviously what went on in your family, so we missed another. And then I had work issues, which mean we missed another. I don't know if you want to talk about your third missing week at all and what happened or not, but you messaged me the other day and said that Matthew had had a message that was for you or something that you wanted
And I
to
was the
talk
one I
about.
went over the ascension
Oh, that
about
was
a,
that, was it?
yeah.
Right.
But it was kind of funny because when we were at the funeral, my sister was cremated, and I always felt it was wrong because I always felt that when we're alive, we partake in everything, all of nature, to basically put inside of us. And then when we get cremated, we're kind of cheating those energies, those life force energies that gave us so much that we didn't give anything back. And I think this is one of the reasons why when the Lakotas, Dakota, and them used to be buried on a scaffold to offer their body as food to nature.
Uh, is cremation not in any of the tribes then?
I don't think we have any tribe. I may be wrong, but I have never heard of any tribe that basically cremates.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, but a lot of times too, I think one of the reasons why people cremated wasn't so much as a religious thing; it was more or less of a something that was sanitized. That again, they could create diseases, so therefore, it was done as a health thing.
Well, that's probably true for India because there's that many people there. Although, I don't know.
It's always strange though. Remember the Viking ritual?
I was just going to say that one.
I know, but where they go out in the boat and then they shoot the fire arrows and the boat burns. Where did they return to? Where does that boat and their body all go to?
Well, supposed to go to Valhalla, aren't they?
No. Where did they go to?
Into
Something
the sea.
before Valhalla. Where did they sink into?
The sea.
Yeah. And what is the sea?
Water.
And what is our life force energy?
Water. So it's okay to be cremated if you do it at sea then?
Huh?
It's okay to have a Viking funeral then, is it?
Well, like I said, it all depends on the belief system. And
No,
I
but you
believe
said
that,
about not giving the energies back. I just wondered. There is a
but then
reason.
again,
Oh,
maybe the simple thing is your life force energy being returned to the water?
mhm.
Well, you know, it's not, and when you sit there and you put on a boat, you're not completely disintegrated when you're on the boat because the boat sinks and the fire goes out.
Oh, I see what you mean. There's still parts of your um, organic matter left then.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
again,
cool then.
yeah,
I've
a
got
lot
a
of the
reason for
basic
this.
things.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Right. Me and my best friend, I've known him since I was at school, so we've known each other since I was 9. It's very unlikely to happen, but I said that I want. Hang on, we've got just pop up just saying we've got 10 minutes left. Okay. I said I want a Viking funeral. And he wants his body firing into the sun. So we've kind of made this pact that if we can possibly do it, that's what we want happening. So his funeral would be his organic matter going into the sun, so that's fine. And
Yeah.
mine is part of my organic matter being burnt and part of it going into the sea then.
Uh, well, how does he feel about that he has to take a person with him and that he has to take his favorite dog with him? Uh,
Uh,
I said, well, if I could have a Viking funeral and just me, fine. But why does my wife have to commit suicide, or my girlfriend have to commit suicide, and my dog has to be shot and killed?
Yeah, well, I did just mean me on a boat and like
Yeah.
arrows and fire. I would not want my dog um, to have to go with me.
Make it simple. Drown.
Well, no, the odds of me having a Viking funeral are very slim. My
Yeah.
plan is to be put in the ground and a tree planted wherever that is, so that I can nourish the roots and the tree can grow all weird
Well, if I go, I want to be in a yacht.
in a yacht.
Take the yacht with me. I could sail around the seven worlds.
7 worlds?
Uh,
You just said
Seven.
7 worlds. Did
there's
you
like
mean 7
it's like a
seas?
song, the seven wonders, the seven worlds.
All right, I didn't know if you were on about some of the dimensions then.
Well, no, there's so far they found that I know of 38 dimensions,
How many?
38.
Who has?
But I'm sure they duplicate. And I was sitting there just wondering, well, if there's 144,000 points of energy, should there be a dimension in each one? But maybe I think what happens is that one dimension holds a slew of energies.
Right, I'm probably going to get this
Many
wrong,
dimensions?
but string theory depends on something like 13 or 14 dimensions or something. You know,
That's
in
that's what
in
scientists,
physics.
yeah, scientists came up with 14, but now they're starting to find there's more.
Uh,
Well, one of the theories is 13, one's 14, if I remember rightly. I
Yeah,
can't remember what the other one
because
was.
they started off. I think originally they said there were four different dimensions, then there were seven, then there were 14. You're catching up.
So who says there's 38 then?
Yeah, there's 38 dimensions that I
Yeah, but
know
who
of.
says that?
Huh?
Who
The energy.
says? Oh, right. No.
I have discovered about we live in a 12 dimension by 16 is actually the correct math of how reality exists. Then beyond reality has another 16 dimensions to it as well, so that completes another 32. Then you got the metric system, is why I call it after beyond reality that deals with other dimensions. Yeah, trust me, the math is pretty crazy, but that's how it comes down to actually in
I
reality.
asked him one time, "How do you know?" He said, "I jump in my spaceship."
Oh, I read all these kind of books about all these dimensions. Well, read. I listen to audiobooks on them, and I I stick with them so far, and then once they get into the maths, I get a little bit lost.
Well,
I like the philosophy.
The ancient elders, the women, said that one day they'll show me how to open a doorway. So if all of a sudden you're sitting there doing something, walking the dog, and all of a sudden I'm right beside you, I finally know how to use the doorway.
That'd be
And
quite weird.
there's no knocking.
I was going to use your kind of humor. Just turn the handle, Wa-Na-Nee-Che.
Yeah, click it until I get the right frequency. But it has to do with, again, crystals. Uh, there's a certain type of crystal that has certain type of energies, and there's a certain um, way you set the crystals, and then you can open the doorway. And I was saying, well, rather than finding the crystals and doing that, can't you just kind of create it within your own energy and then walk through it? Because I'd have to set up the 7 crystals when I got over there to get back again. Whereas if I already had the energy, then I could just say, open the door. Boom, it's open.
Well, that makes me think of Hawkins, my favourite author, and his levels of consciousness. Maybe when
Yeah.
you reach a certain consciousness, you don't need the crystals.
It was funny because I was dreaming. I was dreaming I was at the White House and Trump was talking, and I asked him a question. And he said, what stupid news organization do you belong to? I said, none that you heard of. And he said, I thought so. He said, so where is the information, the answer coming from? You don't want to hear the answer? I said, yes, I want to hear the answer. I said, because you can't argue with the person that told me. Well, who told you? I said, God. You want to argue with him? And he shut up in the vision or the dream. He just shut up. He didn't say another word.
We've got 3.5 minutes left. Funny enough, talking of Trump, and I don't want to go into politics, but I've got a friend in America, and she sent me a message, and she's not like a Bible thumper type Christian or anything like that, because I've seen her post things that are about paganism and things, but she said that there are so many signs that show that Donald Trump is the Antichrist.
Uh-huh.
What do you think to that? I just don't think he's that good, personally.
You should have said he's anti everything.
Yeah. Well, she messaged me at a time when I had a lot of work that day, and it was like 1:30 in the morning, so I was going to bed, so I didn't carry on the conversation. It's only just popped into my head that she messaged me, but certain things in the Bible or something tell you the signs of the Antichrist, and she says that she's spotted something like 32 out of 40 or something. Do you think Donald Trump could be the Antichrist?
Well, the whole you ask people, do you think Trump's a god? And they say, yeah. Okay, then he's an Antichrist.
People think he's a god?
Anybody that puts him above is basically looking at him as the Antichrist. And a lot of the way they describe the Antichrist in the Bible fits him to a T.
Do you believe in an Antichrist, though?
I believe in anti-evil. That somebody
or
can
anti-good,
be
really, because
can be very, very evil. And just because, like, say for instance, if I talk and I criticize Jesus, and I am an Antichrist because I'm criticizing him. The whole idea is that, again, terminology. Antichrist just makes you believe you don't believe in Christ.
or his teachings, more likely.
But he sees himself as a god, which is a lot different, say. And what they're doing is they believe so much that he's a god that they're allowed to have the wool pulled over their eyes and they'll follow him anywhere.
They actually think he's a god.
Yeah, he does. I say, if you see some of the rhetoric, and I mean, of all people, J.D. Vance, that just became a Catholic not too long ago, arguing with the Pope over Christians.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
yeah.
that's also ridiculous. And he always gets corrected because he opens his mouth without thinking or getting the knowledge that he needs.
Any final thoughts? And then we will be back next week, won't we?
Yes,
Yes,
definitely.
good. So,
Well,
any
like
final
I said,
thoughts?
either get off the pot or use it. So everybody goes to the pot store now to buy pot, right?
Uh,
Depends what you mean by pot. You on about a
The pot.
clay pot or?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I cook in a pot.
Thanks for listening to Straight Talk Sacred Pathway. If you'd like to ask Wa-Na-Nee-Che a question, you can email me at stuart@realityresponsibility.com. The link will be in the description. And don't forget, you can download a powerful guided meditation for free at humancircleoflife.com.